is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
All right, guys. Hello. Today I'm here with Francesca. Francesca, how are you?
Good, thank you. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Spring Break Art.
Yes, thank you so much. Day one. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this podcast interview. Do you mind sharing the Instagram so people can look at the work while they listen to the episode?
Our Instagram, the gallery, it's AHA Fine Art, like Apple, Harry Apple, Fine Art. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And can you tell me a little bit about the work that you have in the gallery today?
Yeah, so we chose two artists, one being my father's. So this is a lot of kind of spiritual American, like a lot of realism here. So you'll see like the background and the figure, there's, based off the figure here, and there's so much color, and there's a lot of kind of like religion, ideology mixed in, spiritualism, and that's also why we combined her work with India Evans, who's a much younger artist. And I can also give you both our Instagrams. My father was also a professor at FIT for many years here in New York. And India, these are combination pieces, collaboration pieces with her father, who was a collage artist.
Oh, wow.
So he started some of these pieces. He's passed away, and so has my father, and she finished them.
Wow.
So there's a lot of spiritualism you'll see,
yes.
And references to the female form and the figure, and a lot of eroticism.
Wow. This is beautifully, I have to say, this is like beautifully curated. It's so amazing in person. Can you tell us your booth number, please, so people can check it out?
60.
60? 60?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 60. Do you know how many total artworks do you have here?
Oh, yeah, I think it's 13.
13. Oh, magic number. Yes, it's really nice. And then can you tell me a little bit about yourself as well? Are you a curator?
Oh, yeah, I'm a curator and a gallerist. Yeah, I'm born and raised in New York City, actually. And my father's an artist, and my loft that I grew up in was just very close to here in Tribeca.
Oh, nice.
Artists moved in years ago.
Yeah.
When it was still cheap and we still had rent control.
At the peak, at the prime time,
yes.
right? Yeah, I love that.
And I'm honored to be here.
And do you have an Instagram account for your dad?
Yes, my father, it's Vincent Archilesi.
Vincent Archilesi,
yeah,
okay.
Vincent, and the last name it's Arcilesi.
Perfect.
Yeah, and India Evans.
India Evans, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And can you share a little bit about your father's creative process? How was that for him?
Oh yes, they're all paintings. They all started with drawings. He used to have models. They would come to the house, and he would also paint plein air on site sometimes. And he would come home. I mean, this is really a different period in life. This is from the late '60s and '70s, where the clouds and nature is so important, and he's like combining them in the background, but they're separated by color, and it's like expressionistic color. I mean, he's influenced by all these artists like Cezanne and Titian and German expressionists. So everybody has to come down and see. And there's this industrial aspect. So the theme here is the interior exterior. So this is where I think my father's work really comes together. There's a lot of juxtaposition of iridescent colors, and muted colors, and the same in India Evans' work. And she has this amazing collage where she uses feathers and color and thread. It's like 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional if you add the layers of meaning in here. So everybody come check it out.
That's fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. And then are you going to be here every day in the booth?
Yes, we'll be here every day.
Okay, cool. So people can talk to you, ask you questions.
Yeah, and here at Norma Hamburg, a gallery partner, will be here as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much.
All
It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Alright guys, hello, I'm here at Spring Break Art Show. I'm in booth 53. I'm going to try to say the best I can. I'm with Anna Creeps. How do you pronounce it correctly? I'm sorry.
Anna Creeps. It's Creeps actually.
Creeps. You say it so chicly. I'm going to try to attempt to do it as well as you can. Do you mind sharing your Instagram with me, please?
Yeah. So it's at Anna _. Kriebs, like Krieps.
Perfect. And can you tell me a little bit about the work you have here?
I'm showing works, a series I called iconography. It's works with my sister on it. She's an actress.
Oh, wow.
And they are actually reenactments of paintings of Venus paintings.
Yeah,
or
I see that's like I forget the Whitney.
Olympia.
Yeah.
From Monet, and also from Monet, Déjeuner sur l'herbe.
Yeah.
And then we have Venus from Urbino, and then Sleeping Venus, and Venus and the Mirror. And actually, these reenactments I did because I followed a lot my sister on set, and because we are very, very close, and she always, I use her a bit like my muse in my photography.
Yeah.
And so I saw how tough it is being an actress, and like showing all your body, and not being asked for it or anything. And even if you have a family and you have kids, and you have to be 100% for that character. And like François Truffaut said, like 100%, like 80% of the importance of a movie is the beauty of the women inside. And which is very funny to see is like in the whole art history, it was already in the beginning that the beauty of the woman body was used for the Venus paintings, and but these women were prostitutes often, and they were not even paid like maybe anything. Just a penny or
almost nothing.
And or like in the painting of Ophelia from Millet, I have also, but I don't hang it. I don't have it hanging.
Yeah.
It's there also the woman. She had to lie in a bath. Back in the days, they had no heating in the atelier, so she got a cold and she died.
Oh my God! I didn't know that.
No one knows.
Wow.
Yeah, but an artist became very famous, and
of course.
And I'm a bit talking about that about. The importance of the beauty of a woman in movies or in paintings, in art, and I highlight it. And in my paintings that I reenact in a photography, I stitched bikinis on it.
Yeah.
And I call them bikini nudes. Because also when you look on Instagram nowadays, like a lot of women are presenting themselves in bikinis, and it's not seen as any
anything different. It's so normal, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I make a little highlight on this.
I love that. And where are you originally from?
I'm from Luxembourg.
Luxembourg. Oh, nice. And do you think being from there has like impacted your work?
I don't know. Maybe that everything could be possible. Also, like because it's like a small country, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
not. Who knows, right? And is your sister gonna get a chance to see your art in person?
She did already.
Oh, she did already?
But she can't be here, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. She was with me in the Spring Break Art Show in the last one in LA.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Congrats. And are you going to be here during all of the days in your booth so people can talk to you like once they hear this episode?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And do you like seeing people engage with your art and talk to you about the art, or do you kind of like to observe them from a distance?
I love that.
You
of
do?
Course. That's why I'm here.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, because a lot of artists that I speak to, they're always like, oh, I don't like to speak. I just like to see how people observe it. You know, every artist is different. But yeah, so you have a total of five pieces of artworks here, right? Yeah. And I'd say they're truly amazing. Yes, congratulations. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I wish you the best of luck at your time here at Spring Break Art Show. And thanks again. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
All right, guys. Today I'm here with Mimi Ochan at the Spring Break Art Show. How are you, Mimi?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being part of the podcast today. Would you mind sharing? Let's start with your Instagram. Can you give us your Instagram, please?
Sure. It's at Mimi Ochun, MIMIOCHUN.
Perfect. And can you also tell us your booth number?
Sure. I'm part of booth 65.
65.
With another artist, Lydia Ricci, and it's curated by Paul Amitai.
Perfect. And can you tell me a little bit about the work in your booth, please?
Sure. So I have sort of two bodies of work here. In the main sort of hallway area, I have a bunch of larger scale sculptures. A lot of them were produced around or during the pandemic. So they deal with themes of sort of capitalism in times of crisis. I have, do you want me to describe?
Whatever you're comfortable with. Because I'm going to be sharing pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So, for instance, there's a large stew, which was based off of oversized bowl of stew, a chickpea stew that the recipe was a viral recipe. And I created it thinking about all the people who were suddenly forced during the pandemic to reach into their pantries, find something to make at home, and how we were all across the world probably making some sort of curry or some sort of stew at home. So, and it's large, it's oversized to sort of reflect the collective nature of the cooking that we were all doing at home. I have this one sculpture, which is various bars of soap on a rope, and it was kind of an homage or a totem to the authorities telling us to wash our hands for 30 seconds every time. So just how soap became this sort of, icon in our daily lives. And then in the booth itself, I have some work that's really about kind of the throwaway culture of trash and how it's all enlarged 500%. So I have a Arizona iced tea can, a Dunkin' Donuts bag, a large pigeon. It's intended to allow the viewer to reflect on, to give the perspective of being like a baby or a small creature sort of navigating the daily detritus of our lives.
Love that. And how's your creative process like? How do ideas come to you?
I split my time between my fine art practice and I also have a design practice. I have a constant tally of ideas, running list of ideas of things that I want to make. But typically, I'm usually so I'm constantly I have like things listed on my notes app of things that I want to make when I have time. I guess like generally lately I've been more focused on the sort of inequities that come to the forefront when we sort of when we're in a sort of free market economy. Yeah. So that's the sort of overarching theme of most of the work that I produce. And so I'm constantly seeing instances of this just by like being a citizen of the world, reading the news, reading about labor rights or environmental damage. So these things are like kind of constant and ever present in my mind. So it's not hard for me to like find something that I want to make that essentially reflects that.
Yeah, I love that. Wow, you're so descriptive. Yeah. And do you keep all of your ideas like on a notepad? Like how do you go back to ideas?
So I have on my iPhone, I have a list in the checklist. I have I have one list called Things to Make, and I have just ideas listed. And then, there's the random Post-its that are scribbled and stuck to my monitor of things like ideas that come to me at random moments, and I just sort of tack it down.
Love that. And do you think inspiration hits you like daytime, nighttime? What is it like for you?
It's a good question. I think it's any time. I think I benefit hugely by living in New York, where you're constantly seeing, you're just exposed to so much more. And then I'm also like, a voracious news and media consumer. So it really can happen at any moment in time. I wouldn't say there's like a particular moment in time. I think, it just happens all the time.
Love that. And are you going to be in your booth every day here until the last day?
I should be here for most of the show.
Okay, cool. And do you like when people speak to you about the work?
Yeah.
Do you kind of like to observe them from afar?
I think it's one of those things where you give people their space, but you're there for questions if they have any. I think it's more, people are welcome to come talk. I always love hearing reactions to work, whether they're positive or negative, because, as an artist, you make work, and it's a little bit of that, like, if a tree falls in the forest, is anyone there to hear it? The intention of making this work is to be in dialogue with the public. So I enjoy talking to people. But I also, if you're someone who just, like, wants to absorb the work on your own, totally fine too. I get it.
Love that. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Would you mind just sharing your Instagram once again?
Sure. It's at MimioChun, at MIMIOCHUN.
Perfect. Thank you again, Mimi. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Hi guys, I'm here with John. John, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm great. Yeah, so I'm booth 62. So my company is called Testudo, and we are an online gallery. So our goal is to make art collecting more accessible to more people. So our booth features two artists, Sydney Mullis and Kelsey Tynick, here at Spring Break.
And are you going to be here every day of the Spring Break Art Show in the booth?
Yes, I will be here through Monday. Yeah.
Perfect. And do you mind sharing the Instagram, please?
Yeah, so our Instagram is Testudo, which is TESTUDO _art.
Perfect. And to everybody listening, please go check it out. The work is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about the work of the artist and the artists themselves?
Yeah, sure. So we work with around 35 artists on Testudo. And these two artists, Sydney and Kelsey, approached us about seeing if we would want to do a booth at Spring Break, and we really loved the idea. So both of these artists are working in investigating childhood and trying to bring more childhood wonder and whimsy into their work. And I think that my favorite thing about both of these artists is that they work in sculpture. I love painting, and there's nothing against painting, but I think that there are a lot of really exciting opportunities for people to collect works by emerging sculptors, and so we have works that could be displayed on a shelf or a pedestal, but then also wall-based works, and I think that part of our mission has been to get a lot more attention on people who are making sculptures, so that's why I'm really excited for our booth.
I gotta say, this is an amazing booth. There's so much to look at, so much texture. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why do you love or like Spring Break Art Show?
Yeah, I think that we wanted to do Spring Break because I think of all the art fairs in New York, it is the best at making space for people who don't know that you can purchase original artwork and that there's a ton of really incredible artwork available for sale under $5,000. I think that it's such a great opportunity for people who don't really know the art world or aren't familiar with a ton of artists to come in, but actually be able to purchase work. So we were really excited to be a part of that.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, John. It was a pleasure getting to know you briefly. Would you mind just sharing the Instagram one more time?
Yeah, sure. So we are Testudo, and our Instagram is Testudo, which is TESTUDO _art.
Perfect. Thank you so much again. It was a pleasure, and hopefully everybody check it out. We'll be also sharing the press images as well. Thank you again, John.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Mustafa, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
You are a spring break art show. I'm so excited. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Oh,
Do you
my
mind sharing
pleasure.
your Instagram, please?
Oh, my Instagram is Mustafa Mohsin _art.
Perfect. Thank you. Everybody, please check them out. Can you please tell us about the artwork you're showing here?
So the work I'm showing here is made entirely from imagination. It's more of an internal personal narrative of just daily struggles and the contemporary moment. I can dissect like one of the pieces. So like this one, it's me staring at a plate of bacon. It's called haram or forbidden. So it's like, is it guilt or is it temptation? So it's like going against cultural boundaries and being here in New York and trying to resolve internal conflicts or guilt.
I love that. And what's your creative process like? Like, how do ideas come to you in the daytime, in the nighttime?
They're like usually in the toilet. Yeah. But it's very impulsive and fast. Like all my paintings are made frantically in a way. Like so every brush stroke is felt, every mark is deliberate. And there's this concept that I really like about sprezzatura, which is like an Italian word which means something that lacks laboriousness. So I try to channel that in all of my work, where there is a sense of effortlessness in how it's made. No matter how much labor went into it, that labor needs to be concealed. So that's just a bit of my process.
And how do you decide, because I see you're throwing 3 artworks here in
Yeah.
the booth. And would you mind telling us the booth number?
It's booth number 45.
45, so everybody please check them out. Are you going to be here all of the days during the
I will,
show?
yeah.
Okay, cool. And when you see people with your artwork, do you prefer to just observe them, interact with the artwork, or do you like to hear and talk to the spectators?
I like to give them their space. Yeah, I want them to not be conscious or, be able to freely interact with the work.
Perfect. And are all these paintings from the same year?
They're all from this year, yeah.
And what kind of material do you use? Do you use oil?
Traditional oil on canvas.
Canvas? Okay. And how long does each painting take for you to complete?
It can take any time from like a day to a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you ever get stuck on a piece of painting and you don't finish till maybe months later? Weeks
It
later?
happens. At that moment, you turn the painting around and don't look at it. Yeah.
I like that. And how do you keep track of your ideas? Do you keep a notepad?
I have my notes app in my phone just filled up, and it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about your background?
I'm from Pakistan. I was a professional cake artist for 10 years.
That's so cool.
And then transitioned into painting. Yeah.
And do you think being from Pakistan has impacted your work? Because I see a lot of colors.
It has, of course it has. There's also the cultural context. It's also a lot of the work is about being as a Pakistani here in New York, and the benefits and the struggles of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is this your first time at the Spring Break Art Show?
This is my first time at the Spring Break Art
How's
Show.
it going so far?
It's going great. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Looking forward to it.
Okay, great. And do you have anything else coming up for the rest of this year?
I do, but I'm not allowed to mention it.
No worries.
Yeah.
Everybody just please follow his Instagram and then keep track of it. I'm sure he would say and release the information. In the meantime, thank you so much for participating.
No, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
And can you just say your Instagram again for everybody listening?
Yeah, it's Mustafa Mohsin _art. MUSTAFA MOHSIN
Perfect. Thank you again.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online. This is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
Okay, so you're here with Christina. Help me out on this one, Christina Welzer.
Welzer, yes.
Welzer, very nice. How are you today?
Doing good. Energy is high.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing your Instagram name with us, please?
Yes, so it's at @CWelzer.
Perfect. Can you spell that for all of us non-English-speaking people?
Yes, so C is in cat, WEL, Z is in zebra, ER.
Perfect, thank you. And you're in booth 41, I see?
41.
Perfect. And is this your first time at the Spring Break Art Show?
Yes, my first time as an artist, but the curator, Nadia Tahoon, has done it twice before.
Perfect. And can you tell me a little bit about the work that you're exhibiting here?
Yes, so I've been recently working on a series of collages of women kind of entangled with these demonic figures. And then the idea behind the show is that either the women or the demons are kind of shadows. So the monsters are meant to represent external depictions of the internal struggles that everyone is trying to suppress. Mostly women, I would say. So Spring Break was a really great opportunity to really nail the installation, because I know it's not like it's not paintings on a wall, it's like hanging papers, and we're really inspired by shadow puppets. So being able to like show these the way they were meant to be seen in one space was super exciting.
And how's your creative process?
Creative process. I love drawing, so every single image starts off as a drawing, and then I love making work, so almost every night I'll just go to the studio and work like piece by piece. I'm very detail oriented, so I really like to just kind of meditate and lose myself putting on individual feathers on like a wing.
That's so cool. And how do ideas come to you? Is it like in the daytime, nighttime?
Yeah, I guess it can come wherever. I'm really inspired by my own family history and kind of what it took to go from Korea, survive a war, and then bring every single family member over to America to create like a really beautiful life for generations moving forward. My mother was first generation. I feel like I just have been given every opportunity in the world. So it's important that I guess like harness the legacy that I've inherited and put it into something interesting more than like images, basically. That's how I try to use it, and that's like the thesis of my whole work.
And do you think your background has like impacted your work?
Yeah, definitely. I've always been really inspired by Asian imagery, like Japanese ukiyo-e prints or Japanese folk tales, Korean folk tales. I always really thought it was interesting how maybe during the Renaissance the Italians were super focused on getting perfect perspectives and perfect proportions, and then in Asia and Korea and Japan and China it was so much more about pattern and space and texture, and I find that so much more interesting, and that's kind of what I pull from, or one of the inspirations.
How do you come up with all these ideas? Like, do you write them down? Do you draw them? Do you keep like a note app or like a sketchbook?
Yeah, I mean, for my phone, for me, is like pure work or garbage or Instagram. So I like anything that has to do with art. I like write it down or use a sketchbook. So those, I think, are how I keep track of things.
Perfect. And then for those that are checking out your Instagram accounts, you're listening right now, do you have anything coming up after this? This
is a big deal for me. I'm really excited to be here. So I'm just more excited to keep making work. Like, I feel like I have another like really big idea, and I just want time, and I'm just gonna go back to working at night and making more images.
And then when you're in the studio, are you like do you prefer like more at the nighttime? Like you?
I love working at night because like less people are texting you. You're not looking at your phone. It's like quiet. Like, I love working in the winter at night when it's just like dead silent outside and it's just cold and no one's in the studio building. That's my favorite. So then you could just like make the weirdest images.
Yeah. And do you have like any studio rituals? Like when you get into the studio, is there like anything you have to do, like catch up on the news, coffee before you get to work, or you could like go in, close the door, get to work right away?
Yeah, I love making tea. I like put a pot of jasmine tea on. That's my favorite because it's like the perfect amount of caffeine for me, where I could sleep afterwards, but it perks me up when I get in at like 7. Yeah, so I love tea, and then I'll cycle through podcasts and music.
And is your brain always thinking of ideas and looking for inspiration, or are you able to like, let's say, like pause at certain times and like really be in your environment?
I feel like I'm always open to thinking or finding some new form of inspiration. I mean, life is inspiring, so there's always like a piece of information that pops up that can be used somewhere.
Yeah, love that. And thank you so much for being on the podcast. Can you just share your Instagram for those listening right now, please?
Yes, it's at @CWelser again. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.